has already issued instructions, and the email has now been recirculated as we speak. The member who raised the issue isn't here. I will remind him of the date of the email and today's date of its recirculation.
Thank you. I was looking at, I think it's 46, about unqualified persons sitting or voting. That's all the way in the back.
46.
Yes, like at the back of the book after definitions. But it says 46. I don't know if you found it.
That would now become standing order 46. That's in terms of
Yes. Is it part 9? No, at the back. No, back. Yes, oh, yeah, part 9. On a part 9, yes.
This 46? Notice of motion?
No. Sorry.
You're looking at notices of motions or?
No, after you have filling vacancies. I mean, it's after the definition. So you have some appendix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry.
After,
yeah.
okay.
My apologies. So it starts.
It's understandable because you're looking at this document
for the first time, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so at 46, it speaks about unqualified persons. And then I noticed that the penalty was of £10. So we're updating the standing orders, and I'm just so confused. Right, so I don't know if it was, right.
No,
so I'm not being pedantic, but as I see it there,
yes, and that is part of why you're going to be sitting, and everybody should pick up
something.
Yes, an issue and another, and that's why I threw it out that at the end of today's committee meeting, it would be good to see if we would want to share it with members or members who desire, just love standing orders and desire to want to be a part of the process. I would want the committee to decide, because once tabled here, literally it's tabled as a committee document, which means they can ask for a copy if they so desire. And I like the idea Member Paulwell had, where he said, look, we will look at ours as a unit, so that by the time we come back, it is representative of our side of the house, and it shouldn't become an argument that, is Member Brownberg alone feel like she want to make sure that people's clothes don't burst out in Parliament. And the rest of us don't agree.
But I just, okay. Madam Chair, the flow is palatable.
Oh, definitely. I love the flow. I love the flow.
I'm supporting
it. It makes a big difference to how we review the standing order. And we're going to share this with the Senate, who continues to do an ongoing review. The Senate had a meeting last week reviewing their standing order, even though they had just done an update. And before we even go far with this, just for the benefit of the flow and for them to appreciate, if they want to continue to look at their standing order, CPA stands ready to work with them. Generally, for democracy, for entire legislature, it doesn't prevent the Senate from having the benefit of these resources right now. Thank you.
Yeah, that's just a general comment.
Thank you.
If you permit me, Madam Chair, as we're talking about, for example, the notices that have been sent out and so on, I don't think this would rightly fit into the standing orders, but I believe it is time for us to use technology a little bit more in the Parliament, including, for example, a members' corner, where for stuff that has been circulated, it is easy to just go on the website itself and find it. Sometimes they're not updated early enough. Sometimes some of the stuff that I certainly would want to find or can't remember where it is, who sent it, what was the subject, that it could be found. So maybe that is something that we could look at as well.
Definitely use of technology is something that we will have to look at, because our existing standing orders, when I read them, it's very clear to me that there was no intent to rely on technology. The intent was to make sure that you're handing the stuff at the house, not that you send it via WhatsApp or email And with today's day and age, yes, almost all parliaments are moving in that direction. That does present some challenges for us as well. House Leader, you would not have been there on our last day, but we're also going to have a discussion with you because some of the issues we're having at the Parliament in terms of our own efficiency, in terms of our administrative back office, significantly has to do with the resources at our disposal at the Parliament to be able to manage the day-to-day functions and to be able to offer the support that we would like to offer at the level of the clerk to the two chambers. One is the opposition leader recently spoke about our website not being updated on time. We don't have the resources to be able to do so. As we speak, the Speaker's office, the plugs don't work. The last time we had a JPS power cut, parts of the Parliament never came back. And it means that at some point, instead of, and when you take a look, you will realize that our budgetary allocation for the Parliament prior to my time, prior to this current clerk time, was actually going back to the Ministry of Finance. So we have taken far greater steps in terms of strategic planning and thought, in terms of our org structure. We have actually looked at and engaged a consultant and reviewed the org structure of the Parliament. We are going to need that support to be able to put in place what members need to be able to more efficiently execute their duties. So in other parliaments, like when I visited Trinidad, they had 6 legislative council there to support members who need to do research and help to write papers. We don't have that. We just don't have the facility. We don't have the facility to keep 2 committee meetings at the same time. There are other parliaments where it is okay because it's in their standing order that they meet off-site. Our standing orders require that we meet here for the purpose of Hansard. Another thing we would want to contemplate when we're reviewing these standing orders is the use of technology for the purpose of Hansard. We don't have that. We are in trouble because even for us at the Parliament, we looked at approaching Trinidad because they have a significant amount of Hansard writers and stenotypers. We don't have it. Both our courts having a problem now and our Parliament is having a problem. And so we have to look at whether or not we're going to embrace technology to do the recording and testing while we are shifting from having to have a steno that sits down and manually document every single committee meeting and every house meeting. And whether or not we would have the resources available to say, okay, we draw a line in the sand now and we will use technology along with our manual mechanisms for the next year, do the comparison, and then we slowly move into adopting technology in a more fulsome way. So when we go through these tentatively, we may want to make some notations as well in terms of use of technology, and it allows us to decide if we adopt some now and we adopt some later, or it is pending the technology being reliable that we will be using in the House. Because one of the greatest concerns for the House of Parliament, at no point in time can we be lapsed in recording and documenting the proceedings of the Parliament at no point in time. So that is very critical. The procurement. Yes, the clerk reminds me that the procurement for our new website is on the way as we speak. We literally have done a proper strategic review, has been presented to the Ministry of Finance. When we did the seminar, the CPA post-election seminar, I said that you may have a speaker who is not an attorney, but the benefit is at least you have a speaker who would have been in business and accounting, which actually helps with some of the reorganization that is required in our back office so that we can better serve the Parliament and better execute in terms of our administrative functions. And there is a gap, there is a funding gap, House Leader. We had written a document to the previous House Leader to take to Cabinet. We do not know if it ever got there. And we are going to be coming to you, House Leader, and we really need the support for the executive to give us the necessary funding, support, and not be in a position where we feel as if the Parliament is less than any other ministry, agency, or department of government. Is one of the key instruments of us being able to function as a government. And when I say government, I mean all of us, both sides of the House. Member Paulwell, and then
Yes, Madam Chairman, I know we're approaching the end of the meeting. I just want to make a request to facilitate the work that I indicated we will be doing. If we could get soft copies of the proposed draft, and also as these are the two documents that are current, the existing one and the proposal. It might be useful if our Chief Parliamentary Counsel could cross-reference.
No, so we thought about that. Number one, we don't want to issue electronic copies yet because these are draft standing orders, and even the old one we have, I literally had to convert it myself so that nobody's out there ending up producing these documents that do not comply with the standards that we have issued. We thought about it, and legal counsel thought about it. So, Member Paulwell, I'm going to take the note down, and we're going to have some further discussions on it just to make sure that we're not being overly too cautious. But it was contemplated, and we decided, no, we would circulate them in paper format and persons write on them.
It's just so expensive to do that.
I know, but that is the way. I want to be very careful so we don't end up with different versions of this document or things that are edited otherwise and we are not aware. So that was why the decision was to go manual. And for the committee, I really do not want us to sit down and wait on the Parliament's administrative arm to do the comparison, because I know they're already overwhelmed, and I really am eager for us to start this process. So let's take it piece by piece now. So what we could do is, like, you could say, all right, let me take presiding officer, or let me take, and we will go through this and match it, and then I can say, all right, take membership and conduct, and Angela take decisions of the House, and Buchanan take bills, and then see how best we can do some matching back there in the interim. I do not necessarily want to pass this task on to them unless I know that we have the capacity to be able to do it. I don't want them to delay us. So I'll get back to you with a response in that regard. We'll still ask, because nothing asked, nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I'll still ask them, but I don't want us to have the excuse of waiting on them. This morning's PAC meeting would have been sufficient guidance that they still have some work to do in terms of catch up.
Thank you, Chair. All right, there's a couple matters. I'll probably start with where Member Paulwell left off, and having heard her response, if not clause by clause, if even a brief that goes with this, that indicates what have been the changes.
I've asked the clerk to prepare that.
I think that would help.
So I've asked for that. Member Paulwell, so the clerk was already, and legal counsel. I've asked them at a minimum. We don't want it to be that something is hidden in here. We read it and it sounds reasonable, but it really wasn't in our old standing orders, and we don't pick it up. So I've asked them to put together at least a summary so that we know for sure that every single change that has occurred that adjusts our previous standing order, we are aware of what those changes are, so we can read that in summary format. So yes, House Leader, that was requested.
All right, and just to the points you raised earlier, Chair, just to say, I think it would be useful if you were to refresh that request to me now as the House Leader.
Absolutely.
I think we are all at one. I think across both aisles, that the Parliament needs consistent strengthening. And I think we all agree that additional resources is needed. There's no question about that, even for the membership. Even for the membership. One of the things that I will do, Chair, is to convene the House Committee, which is to look at some of the things that Member Brownberg
Absolutely.
raised. I think, and to lead our opposition business, who will sit on that committee as well, to convene the House Committee. Some of the suggestions, even about a member's corner, I think we need to bring some of those suggestions, because it's not just about, the speaker and the clerk and the persons who work here, the staff, but the members themselves. I think some of the support that is needed for the members to operate more optimally is critical. And we'll come back
The House
now
Committee, I believe, would include the staff.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we'll come back now to
so
some
House
of the
Leader,
resources.
we will go even further, because it is our intention coming out of India to have asked you to do exactly that. There was an entire segment on welfare of members and staff of the Parliament. And,
critical.
And believe you me, it was a surprise when you listen to some of the things that happen in other parliaments that we take for granted. And strangely, one of them was members who had lost the election, and the emotional distress that they may be going through, financial distress, and exactly what do we do as a membership. So several issues were raised that I realized that we really should be looking at, and other parliaments in terms of the health of members that we don't, look at in the fulsome way that we should. So totally agreement with
Two more
your
things
House Leader.
quickly, Chair, as we close. Definitely on the technology side, the infusion of technology. Even as we go through these standing orders, we definitely have to kind of find a track to accelerate the permitted use of technology in the House. And I think that is one of the things. So you raised it. So for example, a number of our courts have transitioned now from just having stenowriters to having systems that record what exactly is said, so that when somebody says consult the Hansard, you can literally play back, and it will make, even in your capacity as speaker, things a lot easier. And so the technology is there. So I think we definitely have to fast track that. And the last thing, I want to add my own commendations. I only got a small portion thereof, unfortunately, because of other things. But I want to add my commendations to the CPA for coming and for holding this seminar. And from what I saw, it was very practical and important. And I wondered if there are any documents, presentations coming from it that could be shared with the membership. I know I know you had lamented that it wasn't recorded, right?
All the documents will be shared.
Absolutely.
All the documents will be shared. At the beginning of House today, we'll just make a quick statement in terms of the post-election seminar, and where persons can now start to do significant training, even on our own. House Leader, let me tell you, there are members who came and were happy to admit, guess what? I didn't know how much I didn't know, even if I'm here 4 terms, 5 terms. It is the first. One member has been here for 5 terms, starting with the Senate. And that member indicated it's the first time in her 5 terms that we have had anything of this nature. I do believe it's the first time the Parliament of Jamaica has done a post-election seminar of this type. And the budget section was excellent, because many of us who were never ministers had the opportunity to literally delve deeply into exactly how our budget is built up. It was of, phenomenal benefit to us. I really wish more of us had the time. And when we next speak, probably House meeting maybe, we do have CAA conference at the end of August. We may want to look at whether or not we do another day, or, on the weekend, something of that nature too, where we pull them in for the most critical segments of the discussion later on this year. We now need to wrap up in a little, so I will take I dealt with it. Okay, yes. Yeah, we observed that it's very difficult for somebody to come to Parliament Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Very hard. Are there any other? Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Member
Thanks.
Congo.
Madam Chair, I just wanted, just for the record, I've been here, you counting both houses for 15 years, and we have had similar, where we went through the standing orders, went through different things. I wouldn't want the record to show that we have never had it.
who,
Hold on,
CPA?
hold on.
I'm asking if
No
it's a
man,
Commonwealth
allow me to
Parliamentary.
complete. It is true, however, that this particular session done by CPA is really one that has been worthwhile, needy, and should help everyone who participated.
Absolutely. Man, that was my research, Member Brownberg, that it was the very first time we're having this type of a session with the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association. And Parliamentary, I should give them credit as well. They also came in and contributed. Okay. The budget debate ends March 24, so I am suggesting to the membership that we look at our next date to meet, and we could set a date for early April. I would hope that we would be able to reconvene, and by then we should have been able to go through with our respective colleagues and come back to be able to start that process. What do you think? Should be? Yeah, that's the plan. And whatever documents we have at our disposal would be circulated, or we give direction as to where to look. So if we're going online to do reviews, and persons would come back, all right? So members, I would ask that we move for the adjournment, and you will have sent to you based on I don't think most of the committee dates would have been locked already. So we'll send the first available date in April for the members, and we would have far advance notice to diarize it. Members, someone move for the adjournment, please. All right, so moved by Member Williams and seconded by Member Paulwell. Thank you, members.